Hello there, I am Black Bright News, and there are so many stories, that are just coming out that I just cannot keep up. But before I retire for the evening, I just wanted to talk about Pepe and Teanna Trump, which is hitting the headlines. Footballer was given at one point 72 million to move from Lille to Arsenal, has now paired up, so they're saying, with a former adult star, Teanna Trump. Now, I saw the article on Facebook, and somebody was kind of really being quite condemnatory and judgmental. And I thought, let me look into this, because sometimes when you see people making these judgments, and being a woman, can I ask myself, what kind of people are they? Are they perfect? Do they live in a bubble? Do they not believe that people can change? And is Teanna Trump to be judged for her previous lifestyle for the rest of her life? Anyway, I've written my notes as I normally do, so I don't digress too much. Otherwise, you know me. And I just wanted to capture everything, and then at the end, I'll see if I got time to share with you some personal thoughts. So I thought I would talk about Nicolas Pepe, professional footballer, and Teanna Trump, adult entertainer and online creator, and look at football stigma, stereotypes, the idea of a normal family, and whether society is a bit too fond of judging people for their pasts. Now, first, who is Nicolas Pepe? A lot of people, unless you're into football, won't even know who he is. Well, he grabbed the headlines when he moved from Lille to Arsenal at the cost of £72 million. How can a man be worth £72 million to kick a ball? Really? Anyway, he cost that much. Why? Because at the time he was one of Europe's hottest young attacking talents, rapid pace, high goal involvement, and a reputation as a brilliant winger. Pepe is probably not worth that much now. In fact, he's not. It's a bit like the stock market. They go up and down, and occasionally they disappear completely. Current estimates value at the low millions, but he's still a millionaire. So when Pepe moved from Arsenal to Villarreal in 2024, fans weren't just comparing clubs, they were comparing pressure, lifestyle, media intensity, and who ends up in the headlines. Well, of course, he's ended up in the headlines, isn't he? So Pepe is going through a lot at the moment and is probably under a lot of stress as a player in public transition, divorce, relocation, new club, new pressures. But onto the other half of this trending duo, we have Teanna Trump. Very different career path, very different industry, and yet they've somehow ended up on the same page. Okay, her net worth is also in the low millions region, although in the adult industry, earnings are hard to track because performers often work independently, create their own content, and use platforms like OnlyFans where income fluctuates. So why is everyone so concerned about these two? Because social media discovered that they were spending time together. Suddenly it becomes not just a gossip story, but a conversation about stigma, judgment, adult work, and what society considers acceptable for a professional athlete's personal life. It's like they take over, don't they? What? Anyway, that's why I don't want to digress. Is all this talk about Pepe and Teanna Trump genuine concern or just judgment dressed up as public interest? Probably a bit of both. Some fans claim they worry that being linked to an adult entertainer could damage Pepe's public image. Some are concerned about his marriage, even though reports suggest Pepe and Fanny B may have separated or are divorcing as long ago as last year. And the media is guessing more than it is reporting. So while others simply love a scandal and will claim they are concerned, they really just find it entertaining at Pepe and Teanna's expense. So Pepe is no longer a man who has fallen in love with a woman, but a footballer who has been seen with a woman who has worked in the adult entertainment business. People don't react to the relationship, they react to the stigma. So why do people stereotype women in the adult industry? It's because even though we're in 2025, society still has a Victorian mindset about sexuality, fascinated by it, obsessed with it, but morally allergic to admitting it. Teanna is a former porn star, now a businesswoman, just like Sasha Grey, who's now an author, Twitch streamer, and successful actor. Tracy Lords. She later worked in mainstream TV and film for decades. Jenna Jameson built a multi-million-pound business. And Mia Khalifa, who became an entrepreneur, media personality, and influencer, as well as many more. These women aren't exceptions. They're proof that people in the adult entertainment world often have talent, discipline, business sense, and work ethic, traits that transfer anywhere, and sometimes the adult industry is just a stepping stone. So, can they regain respectability? Can Teanna regain respectability? Well, these women have, so they can. The real question is whether society is willing to let go of its outdated stereotypes. Judging someone purely because they just once worked in the adult entertainment dates back from a time when people pretended they didn't watch the very thing they were condemning. But stigma persists because people confuse job with character. The internet keeps content permanent. Some feel threatened by sexual openness, and adult performers are often women who historically face more sexual judgment. So when fans say they're concerned about Pepe being linked with Teanna, what they often mean is, I can't detach my personal views on porn from how I see the people who make it. Some jobs are forgiven, some not. She works in porn, so she must be bad for him. That's a stereotype. And the thing is that you have to ask, if you had a son, if he brought home somebody who used to be a prostitute, how would you feel? It's the stigma. It's the stereotype. Regardless of how lovely that woman looks now, regardless of what she's doing now as a business, as long as you know her past, they're going to be judged by it. So people also project insecurity on them, assuming they must feel threatened or embarrassed. Parents worry about judgment, siblings sometimes get teased, children can grow up discovering their parents' past on the internet, and emotional complexity most families never experience. Do we categorically know the nature of their relationship? Do we really know whether they're romantically involved? Do we know whether they even want to be? What we do know is people are outraged about the prospect of these questions being in the affirmative. So what does this tell us about Pepe, Teanna and society's reaction? It tells us that football fans still expect players to live inside a moral bubble. The adult industry stigma is alive and well. People struggle to separate past work from present identity, and many of the concerns about Pepe's personal life come from cultural bias, not evidence. The real story here isn't footballer meets adult entertainer. The real story is how uncomfortable society still is with the idea that people can change, grow, and move beyond their past. So what happens next? Pepe will keep playing football, Teanna will keep creating content, social media will calm down and find a new obsession. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. I haven't got a choice. Oh, yes, I have. Let me just finish what I was going to say. Whether or not they are together isn't the point. The point is what the story reveals about us, our assumptions, our prejudices, and somewhat selective version of morality. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to let people's past stay in the past, accept that adults live differently now and judge people by their behaviour, not their job titles. So, I think these are all valid points, and when I was kind of going through my thoughts about it, I don't know how we change that mindset. How do we separate somebody's past from the present when people change and can change? It's like criminals, they're always a criminal in the eyes of police. They stop you. Oh, have you been in touch with